Hi there, dear guys and girls. I'm Petra, life coach and advocate for survivors of narcissistic and emotional abuse. Welcome back to another video. It's been a while, and today I wanted to speak on emotionally unavailable partners. Now, we create our relationship templates when we're children. So what we see through our parents, how we are raised with our siblings or without our siblings, how our grandparents treated each other, how they treated their children, your parents, and how they treated you, is the foundation on which we build our experience of relationships. So when we have been through a wonderful childhood and we've had loving grandparents and parents, where the foundation is solid for love, solid for relationships, this is what we reproduce when we're older. But when we haven't been fortunate enough to experience that loving and unconditional template, then we go about looking to fix ourselves and looking to find a relationship that is going to make us feel solid and loved and accepted, and a place where we're given unconditional love. So it all has to do with the templates in which we are raised. So if we're looking at, say your mum was dismissive, was highly critical, say your dad was cold and distant, and your parents were unable to, for whatever reason, to interact with each other in a loving way, this is what we get to see as children. And however they treated the parent is usually, not always, but usually the way they are going to treat you as a child, especially in the case of narcissistic parents, where you will find that maybe, some of you, I know just from speaking to so many of you over the past couple of years, is that some of you grow up in dysfunctional homes, in crazy homes, where one parent is the narcissist and the other parent is the enabler. So you will have a highly abusive parent. Well, all abuse is just a no-go. All abuse is wrong. But in the case of a narcissistic parent, there will be an overdrive, an overload of abuse towards their children and towards the enabling partner. And because the partner has been manipulated, intimidated, and also been abused, you will find that this partner is usually, whether it's mother or father, is usually very within to themselves, very closed off, unable to connect to themselves, are emotionally very distant, and this is the enabling parent. And you'll find with these parents that they will not defend their children because they are fearful of the narcissistic abusive partner. And this is where the emotional injuries occur in you as a child growing up in a crazy home, in a narcissistic home. So when you have extracted those emotional injuries, emotional wounds, you will spend most of your adult life looking for a partner who heals you. And this is not to say that it's conscious. This is usually a very unconscious way of thinking, an unconscious injury. So you will be looking to find a partner that will love you unconditionally, that will accept you. And in doing so, you feel that you have fixed whatever it is that you're feeling very uncomfortable about. And that is the wound that we speak of. So again, this is a very unconscious state of being. When you get to the point where you've gone through relationships, you've gone maybe through several marriages. I know this is true for very many of us. We go through emotional abusive relationships and marriages, and we get to a point where we think, what is wrong? I'm trying to do all that is right. You usually find yourself overcompensating. You will just be giving of yourself, giving the love, giving the attention, giving the adoration, giving the acceptance in order to get back, to get a few crumbs of love back. And this is because as children we have never heard or have never learnt how to how to receive that unconditional love. We have never learned how to just be who we are. We have never learned that it is okay to just be who we are, that we are accepted and loved unconditionally. And when this happens, then we go about looking for partners who are going to fill that need within us. And that is being in a very unconscious state. So when you go through relationships and marriages and you get to a point where you think, why is this not working out for me? What is it that I need to be doing in order to make my relationships work? So it's really about going within, because you're going to move from an unconscious state to a conscious state. When you realize that maybe there's really nothing about me that needs to be fixed, which is 9 times out of 10, it's not about fixing, it's about realizing that you have emotional injuries. And then you can go about uncovering these injuries, uncovering the limiting thought process that you have, uncovering the incorrect messages that you received as a child. And by uncovering those and healing those and choosing to live your life differently, choosing to see yourself in a different light, choosing to give all to yourself before giving to the partner in your life, that is when you start to heal those emotional wounds. Because it's really about filling your own cup. If your cup is empty, if your bottle is empty, how are you going to pour into others? You cannot pour from a state of emptiness, from a state of unconsciousness. You have to be conscious and you have to be full within yourself. And when I talk about full, what I'm meaning is that the acceptance and love that you were seeking outside of yourself, that was never given to you as a child through dysfunctional parents, then it is important that you give this back to yourself. And then we're talking about body acceptance. We're talking about acceptance of who you are, acceptance of your own values, and also discovering what those values are. What do you hold important in life? What is true to your heart in life? So when you uncover those wounds and you realize that, hey, what I'm looking for is really within me, I can go inside, I can heal up myself, and I can then pour into myself. And when you pour into yourself on a daily basis, what you're going to be filled up. And whatever pours out of you is for other people. And what is on the inside remains for you. That is those are your inner resources that you are tapping into. So it's very easy, because we're living in an unconscious state, going through crazy making behavior in our childhood, where you were probably made to be the caretaker of your child because or of your parent, because your parent was so unemotionally available, which all narcissists are. It's not to say, I just want to make a small correction here, is there are very many emotionally unavailable people. That does not mean that they are narcissists, but all narcissists are emotionally unavailable. They are unable to connect with themselves, to truly live with themselves, to have unconditional love for themselves. They have this fantasy of love for themselves. And you cannot pass on a fantasy. You cannot pass on insincerity to your children. If you do not have a sincere commitment and love and acceptance of yourself, how on earth are you going to pass that on to your children? So this creates damaged children and ultimately damaged adults. So when you're growing up in that state, because this is how we are born into the world. When we come into this world, we just know, and we are not conscious of it, but we know that we are here for a reason. We know that we are unconditional love. We don't have to do in order to get. We know this as babies and as young children, until we are damaged by the incorrect messages that we receive from our caregivers, from our grandparents, from our parents who are emotionally unavailable. So when you are on the road to healing, it is imperative that you reconnect with yourself by doing the work, by looking within, by going back to your true essence. That is the way to heal, because it's remembering, the messages or the state of being that we were in when we came into this world. That is a state of complete unconditional love. And that is where we need to return to. That is what healing is all about. Going back to that unconditional love. I'm a spiritual life coach, so I speak from a spiritual point of view. And unconditional love is pure. It wants not. It asks for nothing. It is purely a state of giving. And this is a state that we need to return to in order to give ourselves that acceptance that we so much need from other people, the love, the integrity. We all have it within us. These are our inner resources. And we need to learn, when we come into that conscious state, we need to learn to tap into those inner resources. And inner resources are huge. They're your essence. They were given to you at birth, and they have never left you. They're always there. It's just that they have been covered, they have been buried by all the incorrect messages, the abuse, the character assassination, all of these evil, wicked things that have been placed on us as children have caused us, our essence, to be buried under all of these layers of dysfunction. So healing is really about going within, looking to see, where do I need to make different choices with regards to the partners I choose. And to make that different choice, it's really about stepping back. Because what often happens with codependents, with empaths, with people who are looking for unconditional love, is that we will go from one relationship to the next because we're in a state of panic, we're in a state of hypervigilance, and we're looking to calm ourselves through other people. So it's about coming back into your own. It's about stepping back from these toxic and narcissistic relationships and giving yourself the time to recover, to discover yourself, to go within, to learn about yourself, to get into a friendship with yourself. Because once you get into a friendship, into a loving friendship with yourself, once you start pouring into yourself, that is when you are going to attract. It's like Wi-Fi. There's this energy signal out there that we don't see, but we know is there, and it helps us to connect to our devices, our digital devices. This is the same way it is with connecting, reconnecting to your essence, is that you cannot see it, but when you go within, you can feel it and you can reconnect to that. It's a process. It is a process, but it's a doable process. And furthermore, it's a process that is our birthright. This is what we need to hold on to. We are not just put on earth. We are not just born into this life just for the hell of being born. There is always a purpose to our life. Whether it's a huge purpose, whether it's a small purpose, it is all of value. And life is really too short to go through it living under the conditions of someone else, living under the pressure of incorrect messages received from childhood, living under the pressure of just getting through your day, just automatically getting through your day, living in that unconscious state. And that is not living, that is simply surviving through life. It is your right and it is your obligation to yourself to live a life that is full and to live a life in your conditions, not under your conditions, but in your conditions, and from your true essence. So I hope that has helped some, and just to shed light on why it is that we attract emotionally unavailable partners. This is the reason. And if you're looking for help in that department, you can always get in touch with me. I will put my website here under the video. It's so important. It's so important to get into the driver's seat of your own life and just steer the way you want to steer. Go and experience new things the way you want to experience them, and not because someone is having an emotional hold on you through limiting beliefs that are really not yours. They belong to someone else. It's about clearing the space, not only in your thoughts, in your mind, but also in your energy, in your emotions, in your feelings. And when you clear out that space, then you live a life that is full, and that is when you get to tap into your full potential and use it for a greater good. Take care of yourselves, love on yourselves, be accepting of yourselves, and speak to you all next time. Much love.